everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, how are you guys? Hope you guys are doing well. Just want to check. Can you guys hear me okay? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you again for joining today. If you've joined me before, I have shifted spaces. Now I'm in the our study, and I have two amazing people with me. I've got Yusuf and Hannah, who are my kids, and they are one of my biggest supporters. They have been throughout my journey. They have been one of my biggest supporters, and I just want to kind of introduce them today in this webinar with you guys. I want to share them their, I guess, short story. Hannah, do you want to kind of just say hello to people out there? You say hello, say hi. Hi. And tell us a little bit more about yourself. What do you like doing? You like playing. What kinds of things do you like playing? Oh, you like to make zoo, like a zoo with your toys? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Hannah. Yusuf, what do you enjoy doing?
I enjoy like making art and being creative.
Wow, making art and being creative. So as you can see, all the artwork behind us have been done by either Yusuf or Hannah, and they enjoy being creative and expressing themselves. So that's one of the kind of key things that I'm going to be hopefully talking about in the next 60 minutes or so on this conscious parenting webinar. Okay, so Yusuf and Hannah, usually they are with me in just sitting in the back because you're curious about the webinar and they kind of just sit at the back. So again, up to you guys. Do you guys want to go and play, or do you want to kind of hang around? It's entirely up to you guys. What do you guys want to do?
I want to hang around for like a little bit and then I'll go play.
Okay, so up to you guys. Okay, so without further ado, I think everyone's here. Just housekeeping. We've got a chat box. Okay, we've got a chat box there. Please utilize the chat box because I think that's really useful. As I'm presenting, do utilize the chat box. If there's any particular questions you want to ask, just fire away, and hopefully I'll be able to kind of answer in this webinar today. Okay, just before we go, again, just talking about the chat box, can I just see if, just kind of quickly ask, where are you signing in from? It'd be useful for me to understand which part of the world you are at the moment, so that just for the future webinars, I'll be able to kind of understand what particular topics that I can address. So if you don't mind just typing in the chat box, where are you joining from? So Shahida is saying from Kuala Lumpur, Ashley is saying from Canada, awesome. Lyric is saying from UK, awesome. Brenda's from Santa Cruz, California, amazing, amazing. Thank you guys. So again, thank you for joining today. I know it's different time zones. Early morning were certain parts of the time, certain parts of the world, and late night in other parts of the world. So thank you again. So again, without further ado, I'm going to switch on the presentation about conscious parenting, and we'll take it from there. Okay. If you just give me a second here, I will try and share screen. Okay, can I just check? Are you guys leaving? You can stay up here. Okay, fine, cool. Okay, they're just gonna just sit at the side here while I make the presentation. Okay, can you guys see the presentation? Thumbs up if you can. Yeah, okay, awesome. My intention today is that I don't want to be talking too much, because hopefully if I can get this presentation done in half an hour or so, that will give us the next part of the webinar to kind of have a bit of a Q&A, so I can open up to kind of questions and address them live. So I hope that's okay with you guys. Just say yes in the chat box if that's okay. That's something you want to do. Yep, awesome, great, thank you. So let me just put this on presentation. Okay, presentation's okay still? Thumbs up? Yeah, okay, excellent. So again, we're going to be talking about conscious parenting. Okay, so what does conscious parenting mean? Why is it important? How my wife and I have, used conscious parenting as we, we go along, from the firstborn to kind of secondborn, and how we have kind of, I guess, developed as not only parents, but as a family. So hopefully the experience that we can share, that I can share right now, will be useful for everyone out there. Okay. Okay, so congratulations. You've taken the first step towards raising resilient children. Now, I'm not kind of just saying that because I know, if you are already kind of practicing cautious parenting, amazing. Thank you so much. I'd love to kind of hear your tips and strategies of the way that you've done it. But if you're new to the whole idea, then hopefully, I'll be able to kind of share my own experience, my wife and I, our experience as parents. Okay. So just a bit of a background, just introducing myself to people that don't know me. I come from a background in architecture and design. I've worked in the corporate world and also education sector. I've worked with various kind of big companies and corporate organizations. Now, I guess my journey throughout the corporate world, when the kids were born, that's where I kind of really kind of took it upon myself to kind of understand and assess, where am I going as a parent? How am I going to kind of divide, or no, I should not even divide, kind of just, so how am I going to kind of be a parent when my focus prior to this was my job, my career. So how do I balance, strike that balance between work, life, and family? Okay. Throughout my journey, I'm now a Jay Shetty certified coach, and I guess throughout my journey as being in the corporate sector, that has given me kind of a bit of awareness when the kids were born, and I had to kind of assess myself as not only as a parent, but also as a husband. So that gave me kind of an awareness. I really want to kind of understand, how can I really improve not only myself, but my family and other people. So I took it upon myself to get myself certified as a life coach, and I've set up my own success coaching business as well. Okay, just a quick story. I'm so grateful that I have managed to kind of meet these amazing people throughout my journey. Les Brown, a motivational speaker; Gary Vaynerchuk, entrepreneur and motivational speaker; Vishen Lakiani, who's also, I guess, an entrepreneur, and also, the head of Mind Valley, which is based in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. I have started these series of webinars. And again, what's happened in the last 12 months with the pandemic and COVID, especially affecting families like us, I took it upon myself to say, look, I have something that I can share with people. So I guess I started kind of reaching out to people and say, look, if there's something that you want to kind of chat about, I'm here. Let's have a chat. Let's have a conversation. Because it is kind of, I guess, a bit lonely if you are unable, or you feel that you're not able to kind of, I guess, address what's happened in the last 12 months. So I've took it upon myself to develop these series of free webinars to just share my experience and knowledge with people. I then set up the website, www.kamilshah.com. There's free material there with the ebook. I'm more active on social media, on Instagram, as well as Facebook. So at I am Kamil Shah. So you'll catch me on Instagram more often. I now have a LinkedIn profile as well. So I can share that at the end. And also the YouTube channel. This is a good resource if you want to get information about previous webinars and topics. Go to my Kamil Shah Success Coaching YouTube channel. There's a lot of information out there. Okay, back to this webinar. We're talking about conscious parenting, right? So amidst all of that, I am also a husband and a dad, as I've mentioned. And I'm truly grateful to be in a position where I'm able to now, I guess, be in a position to say to myself that I'm happy with where I am. Now, I don't say that because, I only say that because I'm able to kind of shift my priorities. Previously, like I said, my priority was about the career and achieving all these materialistic things. But now I'm more aware and more conscious of the time that I spend. I'm more able to kind of, I guess, focus my time and energy on the right things for me anyway, from my own opinion, which is my family. So we're enjoying our time, and I guess, you know, hopefully the kids, they would get as much experience from their childhood right now, and as they grow up, hopefully have a kind of develop, you know, great memories of being a child in our family. Now, I talked about COVID and the pandemic, and if you are a parent, or actually you don't even need to be a parent, if you're a person, a human being, in the last 12 months, it has affected you in one way or another. Now, of course, from our own experience as parents, we've had to, like many other families out there, quickly shift from the kids having a routine, waking up in the morning, catching the bus, going to school, coming back, activities after school, to quickly having to shift that routine to home learning, which is, you know, completely new environment, not only for us, but for the kids, the parents, for everyone. So that shift has happened in the last 12 months. Now, I think we are a bit more adapt now, because we're a bit more, you know, we've gone 12 months of on and off of doing these home learning kind of situations. But it is still a struggle sometimes, you know, not knowing the next day. So for example, here in Dubai, I just literally, we just literally just got an email from the school saying that the schools are, well, Yusuf and Hannah's school are going to be shut, is going to be shut for the next 2 days because of the rising cases. So that just literally came in the last 2-3 hours as an email. So we're having to kind of adapt quite quickly. But now that we understand if it does happen, we are able to kind of shift quite quickly. Okay. So conscious parenting. So sorry, I'm just reading the chat box here. Moraine says it's overwhelming sometimes. Absolutely, absolutely right, Moraine. Again, if you have any particular question that you want to address, just write it in the chat box, and hopefully throughout I'll be able to kind of address them as we go along. Okay. So what is conscious parenting? So sorry, I'm just going to go back to here. Right. So essentially it means to let go of your ego as a parent, your desires and projections that you put on the child, and also your expectations. You know, I think this is a big thing, the expectation of the parent of what the child should be doing at whatever age, and as they grow up, as they grow up, and also the attachments that they have. So I guess it is, you know, these are kind of 4 or 5 key big items, big ticket items. If you're a parent looking at this in terms of assessing your ego, the desires, projections, it is challenging to be able to analyze yourself. It took me a while to really kind of understand where was I in terms of my egos, projections, expectations of my child. Because the only way that I was doing was I was comparing my child to my own childhood. And I realized that to a certain point where I was actually thinking, well, at this age, I was already doing this, or I wasn't doing this. So I was expecting the child to behave in a certain way. So it took me a while at the beginning to understand what was I doing, and I guess to not repeat what I did before. Now I'm going to come to this about in the next few slides about where are we in terms of our traditions and cultural upbringing. What do we bring on, and what do we have to kind of step back and assess? Is this useful for not only me but for the child? Okay. So essentially, conscious parenting is about letting go of parents' ego, desires, projections, expectations, and attachments. Okay. In the same process, at the same time, if you're able to address these things, you're allowing the child to develop themselves in terms of their own decision makings, address their own desires and expectations. Now, it is challenging because, I'm going to come to this in a minute, because a lot of people will say, look, I thought that we are here as parents to tell the child what to do because they don't know any better. But is that really a useful, premise to start off with, to say that because the child is a child, that we know better? Now I kind of question that. I question that now. Me as a parent, I actually question that because I believe that there's so much that the child can teach me as a parent. And I catch myself sometimes, and I'm like, wow, did she just say that? That's amazing. That's really profound. So I'm going to come to that in a minute. Okay, but it allows the child to develop their own decisions, desires, and expectations. And I said, change begins with us. Okay, change begins with us. We can't expect somebody else to change or somebody else to behave in a certain way if we ourselves are not behaving in a correct way. I grew up in Malaysia from a Malay cultural background, and there's a kind of a saying that goes, it's like the crab asking the child to walk in a straight fashion, right? If you know a crab doesn't walk straight, crab walks sideways, but the crab is asking the child to go forward. Crab's looking to the child and say, why can't you walk straight? Why can't you walk, in a straight line? Whereas the crab itself is walking sideways. It is like that. So it's like, if you can't, change yourself, how do you expect somebody else who's looking at you and looking up at you to change, or to behave in a certain way? Okay, so change begins with us as parents. So Ashley saying, I've questioned that so much we can learn from little ones. Absolutely, absolutely, Ashley. I completely agree with that. Now looking back, there's so much I'm still learning from these guys, every single day. Okay, we talk about beliefs. I talk about beliefs and cultural background and stuff like that. Okay, so these are the kind of I guess, reflecting, these are the kind of key things that one might say, this was how I was brought up. So if you're a parent and you're saying, look, it's always been this way. My dad and my mom taught me to do a certain way, brought me up in a certain way. So hence I shall follow the same rules and guidelines for my own children, right? Now, when it comes to cultural and certain things, I'm not saying cut off completely traditions and things like that. I'm just saying reflect on them. Are there things which are useful that we can carry on, and are there things that we might be able to kind of question a little bit? Why are we doing these things, right? I'll give you an example. Like, for example, one of the traditions is that my kids call me Bub. Right. So because my dad, I call my dad Bob and he calls his dad Bob. So I just thought that's a nice tradition to carry on. But they're free to call me anything. Sometimes they call me dad. Sometimes, my little girl calls me Papa. But it's entirely up to them. I'm not forcing them to do it, but I just thought maybe it's a nice tradition to call me Bob. Right. So again, so it's one of those things where you kind of have to question, is this legitimate as you as a parent right now, that you need to kind of enforce, or, again, never kind of enforce anything to your child? Or is that something that you can question? So another thing that, people always say is that we've always done this way. Like I said, how can I trust my child? It's a child. I know better. So again, once you start saying, I know better, that's the ego talking, right? That's the ego talking. I know better. Like I say, my kids teach me every single, there's certain things that they do, subtle things where I reflect and say, wow, I never looked at it from that point of view. I never kind of understood it from that point of view. But they're giving you so many different kind of perspectives because they're coming from a place where, there's no fear in them. They don't kind of have this kind of limitations or, the boundaries, right? So they're able to kind of observe things from a completely different perspective. Whereas, for example, me as a grown-up, I've possibly set up a few boundaries as I went along, which I'm trying to kind of assess and I guess question and dismantle, right? Now at this stage in my life. So, which is why, there's so much that you can learn from the kids, right? And again, we're supposed to tell them what to do. So again, that's the ego talking, right? So these are some of the beliefs that, when I'm talking to people, these are the things that they kind of come up with and question, or kind of, tell me, how can you do this? This is the way it's always been, right? So rather than having that set of questions and beliefs, now I'm kind of saying, can we shift to questioning still questioning, but questioning it from a different point of view. Is my past valid and aligned with my current values? What I'm saying is that have the way that I've been brought up as a child, is that now valid for me to kind of translate and offer to my child? Question those things, right? Again, ask yourself as a parent, what new experiences can I create for my children? Again, what are the new things? I really believe from my own point of view, us as parents, my wife and I, we want to give as much experience to the kids as we can. I'm not talking about materialistic things. I'm talking about spending quality time with them. Quality time is very challenging right now, but if you can achieve that, that's amazing. Again, simple things that you can do, which will have profound impact on them as a child. And ask yourself, how can my child trust me as opposed to me trusting my child? Am I trustworthy enough? Simple thing, right? Something that I'm trying to kind of work on as a parent is, if I, my son, for example, just says, Bob, can we go to the park now? And I say, we'll go to the park, but I do apologize. I need to finish this right now, but we can go in 20 minutes time. Give me 20 minutes, I'll finish this, and then we'll go. 20 minutes come, and then, he's expecting me to go, but, I don't keep my promise because I keep working. So that's why I catch myself and say, look, Kamil, you've made a promise to your son, drop everything and go. So this is where you kind of ask yourself, can your child trust you as a parent? So it's the other way around, right? So how good are you at kind of maintaining that trust with your child? And what can you do to support your child? Their interests. I'll talk about the paintings that these guys do back here. Sometimes they would say, I feel like I want to paint. I say, okay, we've got some paint. Here's some paper. What do you want to draw? So just it's simple, but give them that support to that platform to understand that I've always got their back. My wife's always got their back. So that's the way that I guess you build trust and I guess mainly trust with your child. Okay, so just want to quickly check: is everyone okay right now? Am I talking okay? Does it make sense? If you chat, drop in the chat box yes if this makes sense, so that I know. I guess it's feedback for me. It makes sense to. Okay, Brenda says yes. Zandra says yes. Okay, Lyric says makes sense. Okay, awesome. Michelle says yes. Thank you, Marianne, Shahida. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to now quickly dive a little bit deeper into the parent work. What can you do as a parent? All right, so we talked about the importance of conscious parenting. So what can we do as a parent? So the first and foremost thing is self-awareness. I talked about this at the beginning, self-awareness. Us as, even kind of remove yourself from the kind of idea of being a parent as a person, being self-aware as an individual. That's one of the critical things, being self-aware. So when it comes to kind of being a parent, so, understand why do we do what we do. So for example, if there's a trigger that, suddenly you feel, okay, I feel angry, things are boiling up right now. My child is not agreeing to do certain things that we should be doing right now. So you feel that thing. I'm sure if you're a parent, you've probably gone through this. Let me know if you've gone through this. Just say yes in the chat box. Brushing your teeth time, or getting ready for bed. So that we've agreed to this, but the child doesn't want to do it. So you feel this thing, you kind of understand and step back and say, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling this? So instead of kind of lashing out and just knee-jerk reaction, step back and kind of understand, being conscious of what am I doing here? What's going on here? What's going on, right? That's the way I kind of do it. Just step back and say, what's going on here? Maybe there's something that's not allowing the child to cooperate. Maybe there's something that's not really kind of about the brushing teeth or getting ready to bed, but there's something else that's distracting the child. Child wants to complete something, so hence it's not wanting to do this. So again, step back, allow yourself that space. Are we compensating for our own lack? Again, going back to upbringing, have there been things that we didn't achieve when we were younger that we're trying to get enforced on the child? We can come, absolutely. So we can become, we can create that environment that we want to create in our family as a parent. So the second thing is, the first is self-awareness. So one of the ways of reaching that is, for me, is meditation. I practice meditation in the morning. I didn't used to practice meditation, but something happened in my career where I got really, really, really stressed. And I just said, look, I have to try meditation, just a 10-minute meditation in the morning. And that every morning just helps me kind of reboot, my intentions. When I wake up, when you wake up in the morning, is that you have a kind of intention of, what do I want to achieve today? What can today bring? Who can I help? What kind of day do I want to create? So not only for your career, but also for your family, right? So set yourself that intention. So that's your time. So again, allow yourself to have some time for meditation, to reflect on your thoughts, and also the opportunity to recenter yourself. Third thing is self-talk. Self-talk is absolutely important. Again, talked about, we've always done it this way. Our family's always done it this way. So hence my children should behave in a certain way and should do certain things. So changing that negative self-talk to positive self-talk, again, saying it, just say it loud, either aloud or in your head, but just reinforce that self-talk, positive self-talk as a parent. My child is a gift. Just say that, my child is a gift. Just kind of look at your child and say, actually, my child is a gift. I believe in the potential of my child. If you don't believe in the potential of a child, it's difficult for them to understand that you've got their back. I'm supportive of my child. I'm able to let go of my ego and expectations. I'm grateful for my time with my child. I work with my child to create amazing memories together. Now, these things, this list might seem trivial. You might say, look, I know this. I'm a parent. I know this. But as trivial as it sounds, actually intentionally saying these things it can create a shift in the way that you behave, because you're able to say, I'm saying these things, but are my actions aligned with what I'm saying? So that gives you, as a parent, I guess, you have to kind of assess and, am I aligned? Am I saying the right things? I'm saying this, but I'm doing this. There's something wrong here. So whatever I'm saying, I should behave, I should respect what I'm saying. So again, don't look at it as a trivial list. It is profound. Okay. And there has been research, about the language. So the language that you use around your child, especially from a young age, can have a profound impact on them growing as they grow up. So again, this is just research done in 2019 saying that children's language and cognitive development are informed by adult spoken language and parental literacy behaviors. So that just means what the quality of speech that you use around your child is very significant. Now, again, for us as parents, when Yusuf was born and Hannah was born, we just spoke to them as adults. We never just went goo goo gaga ha 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 ha. Actually, when I remember when Yusuf was born, I started talking to him like I'm talking to him right now. Hey, buddy, how's it going? I'm your dad. So I'm literally talking to the child as if the child can understand what I'm saying. Obviously, they're trying to figure out what's going on, but I'm already speaking to the child as if Yusuf is 10 or 12 right now. So the way that I'm talking to them, right, my wife and I, right from day one, has always been that. And I hope that's been useful for them as they grew up, to understand, in terms of kind of picking up the language and also kind of understanding the complexity of communication and also kind of emotions. So again, just something to catch, if you are able to do that, I think that will have an impact on your child. So sorry, I'm just catching the comments here. Makes sense. Yes, you have to catch yourself in the moment. So Lyric is saying absolutely, yeah. So catch yourself in the moment before it escalates. So again, I'm going to carry on here. If this makes sense, please say yes. Or if there's any comments, if I'm talking gibberish, please do. just let me know, and I try not to talk gibberish. Okay, so the next thing for me is journaling. Journaling, I have to kind of admit to you, journaling has been something new that I've only started doing in the last few years, right? But again, journaling, why I believe in the power of journaling is that it allows you that there's only so much that you can kind of think of in your head, because there's a lot of things happening. You know, you've got career, finance, your family, your own personal life. Being able to kind of write it down, I prefer to write it down with pen and paper. I know a lot of people now write it down, jot it down in the kind of iPhones or iPads, whatever it is. I'm a bit old school. I really like to write it down in a kind of a proper journal, because it just gives me that kind of engagement of transferring what's in my mind onto a piece of paper. Now, why is that important? Because it gives you a space to kind of assess your thoughts, you know. Just write it down without any kind of filter. Just write it down, because once you're able to do that, you're able to kind of look at your thoughts, I guess, from a more objective point of view, and assess, you know, why am I thinking like this? Why am I writing this? So again, that gives you a bit of kind of, I guess, engagement with your thoughts. So something that I highly recommend is journaling. Okay. It's a bit like, you know, your diary. Remember when you were young, if you ever had a diary when you were young, Dear Diary, it's a bit like that. But I guess for adults. But I guess, I don't know, if you still have a diary, keep using your diary, right? Yes, Noraini says, do you do it daily? Yes, I do it daily. Again, even if there's something that's not really you know, it's just a normal day, I will still write something down, because when you start writing, you find that there's actually a lot up there that's going on that you don't notice, right? It's not until you start writing then things start to emerge. That's the useful thing about writing in your journal, because you're allowing yourself to unpack your thoughts. Absolutely, brain dump session. Absolutely, if you're saying the right thing, right? Do you do it at the end of the day or the morning, daily? Anytime. In the morning, and in the evening. In the morning, it's more about kind of intentions. You know, what do I want to kind of get done today? So it's a bit like that. But in the evening, it's about reflecting on what's happened during the day. What am I grateful for? Some people call it gratitude journal, or it can just be a journal. It doesn't have, you know, gratitude, being grateful for things is part of it. But again, in the morning and in the evening. I know it's going to be a bit challenging, but again, just try to maintain that momentum. You know, just write. You know, sometimes it takes longer. I've been in sessions where I've actually been writing for about half an hour until my arms was aching. I had to kind of stop because I was so engrossed in writing. A lot happened that particular day. Absolutely, it doesn't have to be specific. Marianne's absolutely correct. Just write. Once you start writing, you start to kind of reflect on a lot of things that are up there. So I'm just going to keep carrying on. Keep writing in the comments. This is all useful stuff that you're sharing, not only with me, but with each other. And that's the way I kind of envisioned this session today. It's about knowledge sharing. So continual learning. Again, continual learning. A lot of us think that as soon as we graduate from whatever, high school, or even if you didn't finish school, as soon as you finish schooling, that's it. I don't need to learn anymore. I don't believe that. I believe we are all lifelong learners. There's always something new to learn. And like I said, you know, I'm learning new things, not only from my job, the research that I'm doing, but also for my children. So again, allowing yourself to say, look, I still have a lot more to learn. That's where you set your ego aside and say, look, you know, I don't know everything. I still need to learn, right? So there's always something to, I believe it's an anti-aging secret, because you're still learning. The more you're still using your brain, right? So which is why there's research saying that people who I guess retire, the if they don't have anything, if they don't continue learning or doing things after they retire, I mean the lifespan's a bit short compared to someone who continuously is actively learning after they retire. So again, just never retire. Right? Never retire. Actually, I don't have a plan to retire. I will retire when I expire from this place and I move on to another place. I guess that's not even retirement. I'm just transitioning. Sorry, I digress. I'm gonna come back to this. Okay, and learn together with your family, right? So that's something useful to do. Okay. Now let's talk about the children. Children are a reflection of us, right? So if whatever is happening with the child, if they are behaving in a certain way, I always say, I don't blame them, I blame me. There's something that I'm doing that's causing all of this. So I reflect, what am I doing here, right? So by working on us in terms of being conscious as a parent, I'll come to the strategies in a minute. I just want to touch on the impact on the child by, I guess, being a conscious parent. Emotional resilience. So this is where you're able to kind of allow the child, in my own experience, to express their emotions and feelings. Now, again, I'm reflecting, it's possibly a different generation. I grew up in a generation where you were just told what to do and keep your mouth shut and don't, talk back. There's this idea of not talking back. If you talk back, you were in deep trouble. You were not meant to talk back. You were meant to sit there and listen, right? So again, if you write in the chat box, if this rings a bell with you, if you've gone through this when you were a child. So Shahida saying is LOL. So I guess you come from the same same background. To be seen and not heard. The lyric says yes. Ashley says, yep, the same. So again, I kind of now reflect back, possibly it's a generational thing where we were all growing up, we were meant to just sit there, listen and do what you've been told. And not the thing is not talk back, not even kind of a bit, nope, just do as you're told, right? Don't even dare to talk back. Us as parents right now, we encourage them to talk back because we want to hear from them. So again, the questions that we would ask is, rather than saying go and do this, we would ask them in a slightly different way. How would you feel if we did this? The way that you give the question to them rather than kind of telling them what to do. How do you feel about doing this right now? So that offers that opportunity to have this engagement, right? And that offers you an opportunity, an insight of how they're feeling. Because if they don't feel that they want to do a certain thing, they might be because there's some emotions there. They might be scared of doing something, right? They might have something which you haven't even thought about, right? I remember having this conversation with our little one, Hannah, and we were all getting ready to go to the park, and then Hannah didn't want to go. Like she was like super excited about 20 minutes ago. Now we're about to walk out the door. She didn't want to go. And I was like, Hannah, so what happened? You were super excited to go out. So what happened? So she didn't want to say, but eventually we found out it was because of a tiny ant at the door. She saw a tiny ant. An ant had walked past the front door, right? And she was terrified. She didn't want to go. So again, now that we understood what it was, then we were able to kind of say, okay, so what do you feel the ant is doing right now? So we're having that conversation about this, making up a story about the ant. Ant's possibly gone back to their house and possibly not coming back. So we're able to address that situation rather than it escalating, saying, look, start shouting or whatever it is. We're able to understand actually it was because of tiny Ant that she felt scared, and that just blocked her from even kind of walking out the door, right? So that gives them that opportunity to kind of express their feelings. And I think that's a really useful thing to have, especially with a child, right? Sorry, I'm just catching up here. Maureen, it says, catch myself doing it sometimes. Brenda says, no issue is too small or insignificant. Absolutely. Just have, nothing is too big or too small, right? Just have that engagement with the child. It gives them the opportunity to develop emotional resilience and also develop self-awareness, right? It also allows them to kind of develop critical thinking, ability to apply critical thinking without fear or judgment, right? So to develop their own creativity. So which is why we allow them to do all this stuff. They want to do hand paint, they want to do whatever artwork. They saw, a YouTube channel wanted to make a milkshake. We just made milkshake just a couple of hours ago. Yusuf decided to want to make milkshake and said, okay, what ingredients do we need? So, just allow them to express their creativity. The question is, why not? At least, in doing that, I now know how to make milkshake, right? Whereas before, again, that's about kind of understanding what's the new thing that I can learn with them, right? So now I know how to make milkshake. We've been trying to make milkshake, but then both of us together, looked at a video and said, oh, you needed to put like ice cream in that to make it a bit thicker. So it's, okay, I didn't know that. So again, allow yourself to explore with your child, right? Maureen says about the ants. Yeah, about the ants, I'm learning to be better. It is. I mean, I'm not saying we are perfect. I'm just saying it takes time. It takes time. But if you're able to catch yourself. There are times where we slip, of course, but I forgive myself for slipping because I know that, okay, I'm in this process. I'm not saying all of this or sharing all of this to you guys to say that, oh, we're perfect parents. I don't believe there's perfect parent. There's only kind of, ones which kind of, how am I better now than before, right? So that it's that process. Understand that you're in the process. So don't beat yourself up for it, right? It does take time. Brenda says, absolutely. And forgiveness, yes, absolutely. So, so again, coming back to what we can do for the child, when we're doing all of this, it also allows them to develop self-esteem, right? Allows them to be more confident, to show up as themselves and not feel that they're being judged because they enjoy doing certain things or don't like, or at the moment don't like doing other things. So it allows them to kind of bring themselves forward as opposed to always having to limit themselves, talk about, not being able to kind of speak their mind, right? So, and this hopefully will allow them to address challenges in a more positive way. So rather than being upset the way that, for example, our parents or us being upset about certain things, allow them to kind of just say, look, okay, fine, I didn't get to go to the park today because it rained. Maybe I can go tomorrow. There's always tomorrow to go to the park, right? So again, to kind of allow them to kind of go through that process, I think is helpful. And again, our self-talk, also their self-talk, how do they show up and start to have this positive self-talk within them? We talk about expressing the feelings. So they also are allowed to develop positive self-talk. Again, what we say around them, they are very good at receiving these things, and you'll see that they're kind of reflecting back of what you say back to you. So always, I guess, just be conscious of what you say to them or around them. All right. So now we're going to go to strategies. Okay. Just a quick drink here. Just checking up with you guys. Hi, Hannah. Just checking up with you guys. Okay, just want to catch up with you guys. Does this make sense so far? If you can write in the chat box if you're okay to continue. Yes, if you're okay to continue when we're going to go to the strategies. Rita says yes. Vishal says yes. Brenda says yes. Ashley, absolutely okay. Thumbs up. Okay. So now we're going to go to the strategies that we as parents have used when being conscious as parents, conscious parenting. So the first is to understand boundaries, not discipline. Now, you might have come across this before, and I do believe this is true. Whereas before, growing up, it was about discipline and not understanding why I needed to do certain things in a certain way when I was growing up. There was no insight as to why I was doing certain things in a certain way, right? But when you understand, then you're able to kind of approach it better, right? When the child understands what's the context of that they're working around here. So, for example, bedtime routine, right? So there are certain things that I guess have an agreement with the child that there are certain things that we need to kind of respect and to so that we can move forward. So one of them, for example, bedtime routines. Those are kind of non-negotiables. Change your clothes, get ready. Sorry, can you give me a 1 minute break? Give me a 1 minute break. I'm gonna come back. Okay. Just give me 1 minute. I'll come back. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Apologies for that. Okay, where was I? I was talking about disciplines, right? And boundaries. So non-negotiables, things that, are non-negotiable that we have an agreement with the child, right? So that the key thing here for me is to make sure that the child understands the context, right? So sleeping at a certain time, to explain that, as a child, a child needs X number of hours of sleep. So if we sleep at this time, you're able to wake up at this time, get ready for school. So when they understand that, and I guess the pain points, if we don't get to bed at this time, you might feel tired in the morning. You might feel sluggish in school. So I guess, again, just to kind of explain and have that kind of conversation with a child, rather than kind of just saying, no, this is the way I've told you. Rather than saying that, have that conversation, explain the context, okay? And that's what we've been doing, and talk it out. So again, that goes back to what I said about at the beginning, or kind of halfway through the presentation, about talking with a child. Have a positive engagement, have a chat, a proper conversation with the child, and just listen. I guess it's not about you telling them, it's about kind of maybe just asking questions in a certain way so that you're able to kind of listen in. What are they happy about? What do they enjoy? What are their kind of concerns? What are their fears? Especially now with COVID, having that conversation with them. They might not say it, or might not kind of show it, but have that conversation and just listen in. There might be certain things, things that might have been different. So having that conversation with them, I think is healthy. So it allows them to kind of come forward and I guess be more comfortable with sharing things with you. Okay. And try something new, especially with now, a lot of people in certain parts of the world going into lockdown. What we kind of always kind of encourage people to do, try something new. It's an opportunity to explore different things. And it's not about kind of doing the expensive stuff. There's a lot of, interesting things that you can do as a family. Again, cheap and inexpensive ways. There's a lot of kind of things online, artwork, whatever it is, just allow yourself to try something new and get feedback from the child. There might be certain things that they wanted to do before that, maybe they were, I guess, scared or embarrassed or kind of didn't feel that they could bring forward to the table and share it with you. So maybe now I say, look, what are the new things? We've done this. What about doing something new? So I guess allowing yourselves as a family to do that is useful. One of the key things as well is, I know this is challenging because as a parent, you always want to lead, right? You always want to kind of be at the front, but allow them to lead. Allow them, again, this goes back to kind of allowing them to have that leadership skill developed from a young age. So, sit back and just say, look, like, for example, I'll give you an example about this afternoon's milkshake. I said to Yusuf, okay, so Yusuf, what do I need to do? What do we need to get? So he'll go, okay, we need this, we need milk, we need the blender, we need the Oreo cookies. Okay, so what can I do? Then he'll tell me, okay, if you do this, I'll go and do this. So that empowers them to step forward. And that's a simple thing. That's a simple making a milkshake, right? So that making a milkshake, Oreo milkshake, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, gives them an opportunity to say, look, I've led this little project of mine, right? So I guess not to underestimate that impact that, that child has had in leading a small project where the parent is actually supporting the child, right? So do that more often, then hopefully they will be more kind of encouraged to develop that kind of leadership skill as part of the family, right? And they should always have fun. We'll come to fun in a minute, right? Now, amidst of all of this, I'm not saying there shouldn't be a routine. That routine, again, going back to the discipline and boundaries, right? So there are certain non-negotiables that you agree with a child. But again, making sure that the child understands why things, why do we do bedtime at this particular time? What time do we need to come back from the park? So those are simple things, but at least it starts to kind of develop that routine and consistency. Consistency is key. Now, I'm not saying that we are consistent, right? We try to be, but there might be certain things that happen during the day, which maybe bedtime is possibly pushed back by an hour or so because of certain things that happen. But quickly come back to it the next day, right? We understand that, okay, fine. Today, we didn't achieve this today. That's fine. That's okay. I'm not beating myself about it, right? But the next day, we'll come back to it, right? We come back to it. So just allow yourself that kind of opportunity to come back to consistency. Taking time out. Now, taking time out, I'm not talking about the timeouts that you give to a child for whatever, as a punishment. I'm not talking about those kind of timeouts. I'm talking about allow yourself to step back. We talked about having this situation where things might get heated up. Step back and say, look, sorry, I just need time out to myself. Allow yourself as a parent to take that time out before things start to escalate, because that allows you to kind of diffuse things from escalating. It might be challenging for certain people, but for us as parents, so we kind of do a bit of tag team. So if things escalate with me, then say to my wife, no, I need to kind of remove myself for a little bit, if that's okay, just for me to kind of calm down, reassess situation, and then come back. So we do a bit of tag team, right? Same with a child. Sometimes everyone just needs to kind of, just in a way that you would, I guess in any situation, in the office or wherever it is, in a relationship, you just need a bit of space. You need to just allow yourself to that space, right, before it starts to escalate, right, and work together to help each other. Lastly, don't forget to have fun. I always kind of always check, are we, we're doing certain things, are we still having fun? If we're still having fun, that's great, keep doing it, right? If we're not, then there might be something there. But again, just have fun. There's no harm in having fun. They're kids, your parents, just have fun. Allow yourself to be a child again. Right? Allow yourself to be a child again. Just now, again this afternoon, the kids were out in the hall, outside the apartment, just on their scooters and stuff. And I joined them. I grabbed Yusuf's scooter and start joining them. And then the neighbors came out, and then I just waved hi to the neighbors. Here I am on a kind of a 10-year-old scooter, just joining the kids, just going round and round and round. It felt great because, I remember when I was a child, I was doing that, but I'm able to do it right now. So what's stopping me from enjoying myself with my kids? Doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter what other people think, or, you might think, some people might think, oh, he's a parent, why is he not behaving like a parent? I'm behaving as a parent that I feel that I should behave like, which is, having fun with my kids, right? So allow yourself to have fun, right? Right. So I hope that's useful. I'm going to stop right there with the presentation because I think we still have a bit of time left. I'm not sure. I think maybe gone up. Sorry. Gone through a little bit more than what I should have done, but I just want to kind of give you, before I jump back to conscious parenting, just give you a bit of heads up, right? So the next things that are coming your way, which hopefully I'll be able to engage with you more, is tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, I guess a lot of Malaysians will know this particular person, Sasha Saidin. She is a singer and actress. She used to be part of a girl band called Elite in Malaysia. And I'll be talking to her on Instagram Live, IG Live, about thriving in a pandemic, right? So this is something, if you are in Malaysia, you probably know her. You probably know her if you're in Malaysia. You might not know her if you're outside of Malaysia, but she's a Malaysian celebrity. Stay tuned tomorrow, so 10 p.m. So around about this time tomorrow, I'll be going live with her to talk about thriving in a pandemic. All right, so that's going to be something really awesome. So I encourage you, if you're in Malaysia, do tune in. Okay. So next week we'll have another webinar about focus your way to a better life with Marina Dimchenko and also Donna Brown. I'll be part of that. All three of us have done webinars before together, and it's going to be an awesome one about focus. Okay, so Saturday, 30th of Jan, 9 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. UAE, 10 p.m. Malaysia. So these are the things that are coming up in the next week or so. Okay, right. So I'm going to stop sharing right there. Right, I'm going to stop sharing right there and then come back to you guys. Right. Okay. I'm just going to check the chat box. Lyric says, thank you so much. Brenda says, thank you. Right. Okay. I do realize it's gone. I've actually taken up the whole, the whole 1 hour. I do apologize. But I really want to kind of have this engagement with you guys. If you, if you want to kind of share any particular experiences, just let me know. We can have a quick chat right now. But what I want to do also is, if I can share the screen again, is going back to that presentation. Is right. Okay. So if you want to take a photograph of this is how you can get in touch with me and the stuff that I've been doing so far. Okay. To find out more about the stuff that I've been doing, the website's there, email, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also YouTube. So if you have a camera, whatever, you want to take a screenshot, you can take the screenshot right now, because there's more stuff coming, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity that I'm able to kind of share with everyone out there. So just let me know if you want to take the screenshot. If you need a little bit more time, just write in the chat box. Oh, sorry, it's gone. Sorry, it's gone. Do apologize. Hopefully you got that, right? Okay. So does anyone have any particular questions that you want to ask or kind of share right now? Just let me know, and then we can I can hopefully try to address them right now. Sorry, I'm just doing a few things right now. Right. Okay. So thank you, Yasmin. Thank you. Okay. So Ashley says absolutely. Thank you, Effie. So again, if you don't have anything more if you don't want, I guess if you need to go right now, that's fine. That's okay. You can contact me through the various channels that I've just listed right there. And I really do hope this has been useful. It's just me sharing my own experience. Like I said, I'm still a work in progress. My wife and I are still work in progress, but we hopefully at the moment where we're enjoying the journey with the kids, and I hope that they are enjoying it as much as we are. Okay, so I'm just going to end this right now with a quote that I always end with from Les Brown, who's always been an inspiration for me. Les Brown, when I met him when he came to Dubai, there was one particular thing that he said during his speech. He said, "Wherever you are in life, you've made an appointment to be there." So the fact that you guys are all here today, you've made an appointment to be here today, and you've made an appointment to learn and to grow, hopefully as parents, and I applaud you for doing that. So thank you so much again. Peace and love to you always, and I'll see you tomorrow if you're in Malaysia, tomorrow with the IG Live with Sasha Saidin from Elite, and also next week, the webinar about focus with Marina and Donna and myself. Okay, so thank you everyone. Thank you and see you guys soon. Bye-bye. Bye everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.